What is going on, guys? It's been a while since I've been back here to make any videos baseball related. I'm sure when I posted a guitar video on here, everyone's just freaking out like, "Oh my God, what happened to the baseball content?" Um, which is what I need to talk about. I started this channel back in June of 2010, and a lot has changed since that day. You know, me as a person, I've changed a lot. I don't know if you people have noticed, but go back and watch my first videos when I first started this channel. I was about 340 pounds. You know, I just got out of high school. You know, not much time. You know, not much. Going on in my life at the time, and pretty much watching baseball was all I did. But over the last 3 years, especially 2 years, most in particular, I've lost. I got all the way down to 215 pounds. I've lost almost 125 pounds in weight. So I got the gym going on, and I took over a household, and I work 6 days a week, 50 hours, and at the end of this month, at the end of this season, which I don't, the Tigers are knocking on the door of not making the playoffs. We're going to touch about that too in this video, but at the end of this season, I'm stepping away from YouTube. I won't be making videos. Maybe I might make a video here and there come next season. Maybe over the course of the off season, if I get freed up or my circumstances change, maybe I'll talk about some Tigers off season stuff. But as of now, I've made up my mind that when this season is over with, I will be stepping away from YouTube. Temporarily or permanently, I'm unsure. As right now, it's looking more like a permanent thing. The people I've made friends with on here, I've made a lot of good friends. I mean, guys that I talk to on a consistent, everyday basis. I mean, it's amazing some of the people I've met on this, just using this avenue. Just some really good people. The amount of videos I've made, probably close to 400 or 500 videos, even though I deleted a lot of them, which I kind of regret doing. It would have been cool to look back and seeing, just how I've progressed. Just starting off and just starting off with no one and then 450 subscribers. I mean, that's just nuts. I never expected to honestly break 100 subs. The whole reason why I made this channel, and I can specifically remember why. Armando Galarraga pitched that perfect game, and I came on YouTube to check out to see like what are some reactions of people. And I saw this guy, I think his name was like Cool J Jabari, and this guy was just a complete imbecile when it came to anything baseball. And it just legitimately pissed me off that this guy had 200 some subscribers. So, I was like, something, I'm gonna make my own channel and I'm gonna outdo that guy. And I did. I've out doubled his subs since I came on here. Like I said, I've met some amazing people. For the last 4 years, pretty much. I mean, I guess for exception to this season because I haven't done it nearly. This is a big reason why I'm stepping away too. The one thing I've always prided myself on with this channel, and the one thing I pride myself on a lot, is not talking bullshit, not pretending like I know what's going on. And over the last 3 seasons especially, I mean, I was missing maybe 8, 9 games this season and watching every pitch, every single inning, and I could come on here and give you guys the most realistic and I thought, a really good, solid opinion on Tigers baseball. This year, working 6 days a week, working 50 hours, I'm watching still a good majority of the games, yes. I still have a good grasp of what's going on, but I don't feel my viewpoints and my opinions are on as par as years prior when I was literally watching as much baseball as the guys broadcasting the games because I was watching it that dead close. I mean, now, I got to catch, if I got to go to bed a little bit early, I got to catch the rest of the game on quick pitch. So, if I wanted to see how a certain pitcher was pitching or, learn about his tendencies, something like that, I can't do that as much. If I got other stuff going on where I need to go to the gym or, for example, I started playing softball last year, so I had softball season this year and last year, so I had to catch those. I don't want to come on here and fake it. I don't want to talk bullshit. That is my biggest thing. And when I feel like I can't step up anymore and come on here and be 100% honest and give you guys some of the best opinions on the Tigers I feel I can give you, I'm stepping the fuck away. I am, because I'm not one to bullshit, and I'm not going to sit here and bring my channel to a substandard that I don't feel it should be sitting at just because I want to keep cranking out videos, just because I want to keep my subscriber count out. I won't do that. I refuse to do that. If everyone unsubscribes to my channel after this video because they know I'm stepping away, I would have no problem with that because I'm not going to come on here and give bullshit opinions. I'm just not going to do that because I refuse to let all the work I've put in, all the years of baseball I've watched, you know, to come down to a level that I'm not comfortable with to come on here and talk about, just because I don't want to lose subscriber count. So at the end of this season, I think I'm gonna step away. You know, I'm still gonna have my channel. Maybe I might make, you know, an occasional video here and there next season, but the consistency of it, you know, the days of me making series preview and series thoughts videos is never gonna happen again. It's just not. You know, and I thought doing the This Week in Tigers Baseball would allow me to keep my channel, yet still make good videos, but it hasn't. You know, really, to be honest with you, I don't really like these videos at all. You know, I really missed doing the series previews and everything else because, you know, I was doing it every 3 days. I watched every game. I watched almost every pitch. You know, and it was quality videos. You know, when I try to do these This Week in Tigers Baseball, I got to try to remember a whole week's and a half worth of baseball. And on top of, you know, I had all this shit going on for the week. You know, I had this stuff going on for this. You know, as I go, you know, I missed this inning, I missed that inning, and, you know, so this is no, it's done. And I'm, like I said, I'm not going to come on here and preach bullshit to keep my subscriber channel count up. So I'm just not going to do that. So I'm making it official at the end of this season, which I think is going to end here pretty shortly. We're going to start touching on some Tigers baseball right now. I'm just done. I gotta walk away, guys. I can't come on here and preach bullshit to you guys. I just can't, and I refuse to do it because I have too many subscribers. I've met too many people to let my videos become subpar, and I'm not going to do that. So let's start talking about the Tigers. My goodness, this team is fucking atrocious. I have no idea. Luckily, Kansas City has cooled down some. You know, Kansas City went on like a streak where they won like 22 of 28. Some ungodly. They were almost at like an 800 winning percentage for almost a month. I mean, they were just an ungodly kind of hot. They've cooled down some. They lost 3 straight games, I believe, going into last night, or they lost 3 or 4, one of the two. They were playing the Indians last night in Kaufman, KC. And I watched that game, most of that game, and House pitched a hell of a game. Him and Duffy matched each other pretty much pitch for pitch. It was an outstanding game. But the game, you know, they were winning, but Alex Gordon comes up, and that guy, man, Alex Gordon has had such a great year. The AL MVP race, you know, we want to keep saying it's cut and dry Mike Trout. Obviously rocking the Mike Trout shirt today. It's cut and dry Mike Trout, which I think, you know, if I had to pick an MVP this year, it would be Mike Trout. But, I mean, Alex Gordon is having a year where, you know, you got to sit there and listen to the knocks on the walls. I mean, he's making some noise about being a legitimate MVP candidate, you know, and so is Adam Jones. I mean, those guys are having outstanding years. And Alex Gordon just plays an outstanding left field. He's come up with some really big hits this year. You know, he's one of the Royals in general. I mean, that team is just so solid defensively with Dyson and Kane and Gordon. I mean, they just play really, really nice defense. But Alex Gordon, he's undoubtedly the best left fielder in baseball. I mean, you can't find someone better than him. And he is having a legitimate MVP year. He has come up with some big hits. But luckily, the Royals have cooled off. The Tigers at one point were 2.5 games back on the Royals. And, you know, they pulled even with them. They actually still sit a half game behind. Hopefully, when the game resumes that was suspended last night, the Indians finish that out. Or the Indians, you know, finish them off whenever they do finish that game and, you know, help the Tigers pull even. Now, I'm really, really scared for this Tigers team right now because if you look around the diamond, it's a super inconsistent team. I mean, you know, somehow they're top 5 in runs and average and on base. You know, but the team play is just inconsistent as shit. And the biggest reason for that is the Tigers will go 5 games where they score, you know, 13 runs, and then they'll score 13 runs in a game, you know, which is really keeping their you know, them up in the pace of one of the better offensive teams in the American League. But if you look at the team as a whole, Alex Avila, you know, I really like Avila. I know what he does for a game. I know how good he is calling a game. But eventually, I mean, 2011 was quite a few years ago now. I mean, we can't just keep hoping, you know, this guy's going to be a Silver Slugger catcher ever again, because he's just not. I mean, he doesn't hit lefties well at all. He doesn't take the ball the other way with power anymore. You know, he's had a better year this year with power-wise. I mean, he's double-digit home runs, but he's just struggled. I mean, it's kind of weird that I think he's still top 5 on the Tigers' on-base percentage because he has a legitimately good eye. He just has a lot of holes in his swing. And then you look at first base, that's been a fucking disaster because Miguel Cabrera's experiencing ankle pain. And, you know, this It's crazy to see Miguel Cabrera. His average, I think, is at 299 or 300. He's got 17 home runs. I think he's got almost 90 RBIs. And we're sitting here going, what the hell is wrong with Miguel Cabrera? I mean, that is how good of a hitter he is. But you know something? This season has been an absolute – it's been hard to watch because he's been hurt. I mean, he had that off-season surgery, and he's been hurt all year. And right now he's really hurting. And that's why he has almost 50 doubles. Because think about this. Last year alone, I think he had 26 doubles, but he had 44 home runs. All those balls that he's hitting for extra base hits, just doubles now, were going out of the park last year. And he's lost a lot of his power. That's why his double rate has increased so much, because those balls aren't flying out of the park anymore. And now, you know, you're dealing with a team that's playing very inconsistently. Your best hitter on your team, who, you know, isn't really looking like he has years past, is now hurt, and who knows how long. And then you're running into a stretch of this month where, you know, KC is still in first. You're still looking up at them. And then the Indians are really, really hot right now. They've been really good over the last couple of weeks. And they're, you know, you got to go play 4 at Progressive with a team that's hot, and you're a team that's been consistent. I mean, this has been their win-loss for the last couple of days. They lost yesterday to Quintana, and Porcello got screwed. That game I knew was a lost cause as soon as it started, because the first pitch, or the second pitch Porcello throws, J.D. Martinez drops it, a ball he should have caught. And then Eugenio Suarez misses a ball that was a foot to his left, and then he fucks up another ball that was an easy flip to second, and they get another run. So it was 2-0 real quick based on some shoddy defense. And the Tigers committed 3 errors in 2 innings. And that's been one thing this year that's disappointed me so much about this Tigers team. Last year they had 75 errors, all of last year. They're on pace, I think, for 100. They have just somehow, a team that had Miguel Cabrera at third last year, had Prince Fielder at first last year, they have somehow, with putting Cabrera over at first, who really, you know, he's a below average defender, but he's done better than Fielder, they've still somehow managed to become even worse. And Kinsler, you know, he's been pretty good defensively this year, fine, but you really, really miss, because Romine and Suarez, I don't care what the defensive metrics say, they have not been that great of defenders this year at shortstop. They just haven't. And, you know, Iglesias, you know, say if he'd give you the same offensive numbers that Eugenio Suarez has given you this year, it's still not worth his defense would have easily outdone what Suarez's defense has done, because Suarez has misplayed a lot of plays this year, and Castellanos has just been absolutely awful at third. I know it's his first full year back at third and whatnot, but he has looked really bad there. I mean, I think he's cost the Tigers 26 or 27 runs there. He's somehow been worse than Miguel Cabrera at third base. And then your outfield defense has been a mess. I mean, Jackson was having a subpar defensive year before he got traded. Torrey Hunter hasn't had a good defensive year in a couple years. And J.D. Martinez is like, well, I mean, he's been one of your more consistent hitters, so you deal with what he gives you. But, I mean, that goes back to looking at this lineup. I mean, you were getting nothing out of shortstop. Kinsler hasn't been good since the All-Star break, even though he's been heating up as of late. You know, Castellanos he's a rookie, and he's giving you what he's giving you. He goes through a couple of streaks, you know, here and there, once or twice a month, and he does really well. And, you know, but then he tapers off and hits 200. You know, and then you look at the outfield, you traded away your hottest hitter in Jackson at the time last month, and then your top of the order has really suffered since Jackson's been traded, because Davis can't hit righties to save his life, and Kinsler, he's been going through a slump, so you've had a hard time finding someone at the top of your order to balance that out. And Ezekiel Carrera, you can't start him every day. So, I mean, that's been a mess. And this Tigers team in general, they have so many holes and so many flaws. And then you look at the bullpen. I mean, Nathan's kind of straightened out a bit as of late, but Job has been struggling. Phil Koch's been probably your best reliever. You know, Blaine Hardy, he's been a fucking godsend. He's been so good. Really, he has. And then you've been hit with these injuries in rotation. You know, with Sanchez, they think he might be gone for the year. And then Verlander, who, by the way, has a lot of interesting pictures out of him right now. I don't know if you guys have saw that. So I saw parts of Justin Verlander I probably wish I would have never saw last night. But anyways, you know, he's been really inconsistent, and he was hurt and missed a start. And then you finally get a taste of what your farm system brings you. You get Farmer up here, and then, you know, Lobstein pitched a good game, and, you know, Kyle Ryan pitched a good game. But, you know, Farmer got lit up. Robbie Ray has been hit really, really hard his last 4 starts. He's been in the big leagues. So, I mean, you know, you've had no depth whatsoever in your farm system. Your bullpen, you know, you still don't have Soria. Your job has been inconsistent. You know, it's just been basically, you know, over the last couple of years, the Tigers finally, they underachieve for a good chunk of the season, but then they get hot at the end. This year, I am legitimately scared that the Tigers are going to fall into third place. I mean, they always say the cream rises to the top, but there has been no resemblance of a competitive, really solid team over the last 3 months, really, in this Tigers team, and how bad their offense has been, how many games their bullpen has blown, how shoddy their defense is. I mean, there's been really no resemblance of anything good. I mean, like the other day, a game they should have won in that doubleheader. They get hit 2 home runs in the first inning against Chris Sale, and they're up 3-0, and Max Scherzer comes out and plays a dud. I mean, Rick Porcello comes out trying to salvage, a series win instead of a split, and he gets screwed by his defense, and that sets the tone the rest of the game, and then they lose 6-2. I mean, this has been the Tigers all season, and this is what I'm scared about. You're going into Cleveland, a team that's been the hottest team in the Central since Kansas City finally cooled off, a team, that's been pitching really well, and you got to go to their house, and a team that has an inconsistent offense. I mean, now you got to face Corey Kluber tonight, of all people. I mean, the Tigers could legitimately find themselves in third place after this series, and they could, I would not be surprised if they don't make the playoffs. Now, I don't want to sit here and speak doomsday. I've done that before in years prior, but they had the team to do it. To come back out and take over the Central, because you had a fielder, you had offense at shortstop, you had Omar Infante, and your rotation was with Pfister and Scherzer and Sanchez and Verlander, and even with Porcello having subpar years still. I mean, you had that. And your bullpen last year, it wasn't great, but you had Benoit locking down games. He only blew 2 saves. Drew Smiley was an absolute really, really good. So I mean, this team just has not really shown any good stretches of baseball in a couple of months. And it legit scares me that we got to go face a really hot Cleveland team, who's been pitching very well, been hitting pretty good. When this team's offense gets shut down day in and day out, someday they drop 13, someday they get, drop 1. There's just been no consistency to it. So I could legit see in the next 4 games, especially having to face Corey Kluber, of all people, the Tigers falling out of second place. I could. This series right now is put up or shut up. They have no choice but to go into Cleveland and take 3 out of 4. Because if they don't take 3 out of 4, split at worst, they are in some trouble. Because Kansas City, that bullpen is not going anywhere anytime soon. That bullpen is so, so good. I mean, I know the rotation's the rotation's not amazing, but they've done enough to pitch. Their offense has been better. I mean, they have no time to screw around. And you go into Cleveland, and they take 3 or 4 from you. My goodness, because now you're not only changing or catching Kansas City, who's sitting up top. Now you got to chase Cleveland, who's got a wild card spot, and you got to pretty much play perfect. And when, like I said, how inconsistent this team's been, how inconsistent on offense they've been, how bad they've been on defense, it's going to be it's going to be a daunting task to have to jump Cleveland and then hope Kansas City stays cooled off enough to try to jump them. So this series right here in Cleveland, this is pivotal. They have no choice but to go in and take 3 or 4. So here's the September call-ups. I wanted to touch on this too before I ended this video. The Tigers called up Tyler Collins, Hernan Perez, Steven Moya, Kyle Lobstein, Kyle Ryan, and Robbie Ray, and James McCann. I am so pumped to see Steven Moya. He was actually the AA MVP this year. He had 35 home runs. He's a big guy. Had double digits in steals. He's not a bad outfielder. So he's going to come up, but I think he's going to play dividends because they absolutely need someone in the outfield that can give them a consistent bat for this next month. And they have to try James McCann. Fuck Brian Holiday. He is god-awful. He doesn't even call that good of a game, really, to be honest with you. He doesn't. They need to give James McCann, a guy who had almost 300 in the minors this year, they need to give him some reps at catcher because he should have been like back up out of spring training, to be honest with you. He should. And then Hernan Perez was up last year. Guy provides you some versatility. He can play some second, can play some short. I'm sure he can play some third, need be. He can give you all that, and hopefully he can give you a little bit, some kind of offense out of your shortstop position. Kyle Ryan, he looked really good. Kind of a touch and feel kind of guy, but looked really good. Lobstein looked really good. Robbie Ray, hopefully he can provide you a lefty arm out of the pen. So that looks good. But I'm most excited to see Steven Moya and James McCann because they need some offense out of those 2 positions. So who knows how much time they get. I think Moya is going to see the most time out of any of these guys because of how bad their offense has been, inconsistent it's been, and they need someone in the bottom half of that order especially that's not just the DO, the designated out, that can get on base. So I'm interested to see those guys, but this is put up or shut up time now, guys. We're early. This is September 1st. We're chasing first place right now. We're actually a half game behind because that game got suspended. We'd actually be tied in first place right now if it wasn't for that rain out or the suspended game. But you're going into Cleveland facing a hot team who can potentially leapfrog you for second and take your wild card spot. This is it. This is one of the biggest 4-game series of this month. They have to do something now. You take 3 or 4. My goodness, you are up for a daunting task. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'm scared. I'm legit scared, man, because this isn't the Tiger teams of the last few years. There's just so much wrong with them. They're inconsistent offense, they're bad defense, they're terrible bullpen, inconsistencies in their starting rotation, injuries. I mean, they're facing a big task. And if they do make the playoffs, which I hope they do, I don't see them going very far. Because even with Oakland, as bad as they've been, they've been, I think, one of the worst teams since the All-Star or since that trade of John Lester. They just got at him done. But you got to run into the Angels, who's minus Garrett Richards, but they get great pitching performances out of guys like Matt Shoemaker, Michigan native, by the way, Jared Weaver. They got guys stepping up, and they got that really good offense and their bullpen. What's his face? Dipoto did a great job really settling down that bullpen by getting Houston Street, by getting Jason Grilli. I mean, getting rid of Fieri. I mean, they've really done a great job getting that bullpen, quieted down. That was one thing Dombrowski did not do this year. He tried to get quality Armand Soria, but that backfired in his face. Tried to get Chad Qualls, but that didn't go through. I mean, they tried to get Andrew Miller an arm, that fell through. So, I mean, he tried, but he did not do enough. And if they do make the playoffs, I don't foresee them going very far with this bullpen and how bad their offense has been. And plus, you got another hurt Miggy, and we saw how bad he was last year in the playoffs when he was hurt. So I'm just legit scared. And if they get taken 3 or 4, my goodness, guys, I don't know. So like I said, I hope you guys understand about my YouTube channel coming to an end. Sorry for the length of this video. I know it's a little bit of a long one, but I'm going to be here till the end of the season, and that's it. So I got for you guys today. I'll be back next week, hopefully, and have a good one.